Okay, go live. We have the classic intro page. I'll check on the other computer.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
I think we're live.
1 second.
Hello. Let me know if you can hear me
Check.
in the chat. But I think you should be able to hear me. Anyway, welcome to the next weekly stream episode. As always, before we jump into the things, the stream is sponsored by the Coin Market Man. This is the automated journaling tool. You will connect your APY and it will pull basically all the data from your trades. You will see all the different statistics, which are actually super important for trading. Usually the CMM costs money. If you are going to just pay for it, you will be paying $70 a month. But if you are going to use the link in the description, the first thing in the description, and you will make a new account with Bybit, you will get this whole thing for free for the Bybit account that you connected. We will obviously get some of that sweet ref money back from your trades. So, but yeah, I feel like
Please, I need to pay rent. Please, I need to pay.
It's still a nice kind of a deal in my opinion. You are at least getting something for free. If you already have a account on Binance with the KYC, you can DM the support and they will transfer it to this account. So with that out of the discussion, let's talk about BTC. I will be super quick this week because the last week, the 7 days ago when we were streaming, I will actually show you this on the lower time frames. Monday 7 p.m. basically right here. So I will just draw this big line here. So the price moved whole $121 since
Impressive.
we spoke last week. So there's really not much to talk about. I will also show you this daily implied volatility on Deribit. You can see, the volatility is just dying down. There is some talk now on Twitter, people kind of calling bottom on the volatility. If you ever traded options or you know a little bit about that. Volatility tends to be mean reverting. You can see this is VIX, for example, or I think I can show you the historical volatility here on BitMEX. The volatility is mean reverting, but it can take quite some time for it to actually mean revert. So I would be pretty careful, going into this because it can just kind of bleed against you. When it comes to the chart itself, it's not really that much to talk about. I posted today on Twitter, we had this kind of a sweep on this, if we are really going to zoom out this on the daily chart, we had this kind of range from these last 7 days basically. And yesterday overnight, we swept the lows. We did not took this kind of a swing point low that from this flush on Monday, but we at least traded under all these lows from past 5 days or so, and we also kind of made a new highs here on the H1 chart. So I was really looking to get into longs today, get some sort of bounce, but you can see we kind of tested the level that I was looking to buy, and this is just kind of dying down again. So I really don't know what to think. I personally am in a very small long, because we kind of tested this level. If I'm going to take a look at the order flow as well, there was quite a bit of selling coming into this. So this really looked like kind of promising. We can see even now within this last 60-minute candle, we had this kind of 19 million delta on the sell side. The volume is decent. The cumulative volume delta on the lower time frames, I think it will also be kind of pointing down on a bunch of these candles, but it's just lacking any kind of reaction. So it's really hard to say much about this at the moment. I feel like if this is going to go down again and we will be trading under this low, then the likelihood of this is actually kind of breaking down is much higher at that point. Because I feel like on kind of a more of a medium time frame, even before we sold off, basically, we kind of left this triple top right here. You know, we never really traded much into this kind of a sell-off gap we had here. Usually what it kind of tends to happen is that people that, you know, after the sell-offs like these, you know, people started jumping in the shorts, and markets at least tend to kind of punish them. You know, or basically all these people that were kind of shorting this move to the downside, you know, most of them would have stops somewhere in this area. You know, markets what tend to do is like they will take them out and then actually sell off. You know, but you can see that basically this week didn't even took the previous high. Then we had this move. This is I think last Sunday, and we also didn't take any kind of high. So this really feels like a kind of weak structure to me. Makes it pretty hard for me to actually position into something with like more of conviction on the short side. You know, at least because like I said, you know, like super poor highs, and usually, you know, which kind of shows me how kind of dead this market is, that these tend to be like very very nice kind of trades to trade into these, you know, like I said, the weak positioning and all of that, but we are just not kind of getting that at all. So there is not, like I said, not much to talk about when it comes to BTC. Even if we are going to take a look at the all the kind of open interest things and all of that, you know, we had this kind of bunch of open interest coming to the lows. You know, basically all these sells, they seem to be still have a decent time. You know, there was not any kind of huge puke from these shorts that came here. You know, they are pretty happy, but how the overall thing looks to me, it's like I said, hard for me to just get into the fresh shorts. I would love to see some sort of bounce back, but this market is just kind of not showing any kind of proper sign of strength. So and I think if I'm going to take a look at ETH, it's even kind of a more depressing picture. You know, ETH basically from since March, you know, we are at the same price since March. So you know, it's what it is like 3 months, basically over 3 months with the same price, with exception of like 4 days when we basically pumped and sold off again, and you know, this kind of thing. So it's really, you know, it's one of these things when you kind of, and even it tends to be hard if you for example only trade Bitcoin, and you feel like, you know, you should be trading to kind of, you know, generally on Twitter, you know, everyone is calling for like go touch grass and just take them off. But yeah, obviously if you want to kind of trade, and if you want to, you know, journal the trades and kind of work on your strategies as well, you know, it's kind of shitty thing to do. So I am personally looking at different markets. I think you should too. So yeah, not much to say really about the BTC for me. Hopefully the week from now there will be much more to talk about. Previously I spoke to about this 28.5 level. If we are also going to add the VWAP now, just very quickly to show you the VWAP from the start of the year, we are sitting at this kind of +1 standard deviation, so a little bit of a support. Yeah, that was kind of a little confluence for possible long trade, but like I said, it's not really.
Yeah, it looks
really
pretty weak, honestly.
Yeah, it really looks pretty weak. Like when with all these kind of a auction market theory concepts and all of that, you know, the more time market spends at the level, the higher likelihood is that it's going to break and kind of continue. So yeah. It's kind of unfortunate. It is what it is. Like I said, I took a small long today. It doesn't look bad or good. It's just that basically. And for me, that although this market is looking weak, I don't really have any kind of level where I would feel confident in like a, you know, like bigger positional short. I don't really day trade at the moment, so for me it's all about, you know, these kind of intra-week, at least few day trades. I would need to see, you know, at least something like this, or ideally, you know, something like this basically. So yeah, that's really it for me for the Bitcoin. Like I said, ETH, I'm not even looking at that. I had this level on ETH, this 18 You can see I have an alert here, basically taking all these lows, then probably some sort of a quick reaction to the upside. But outside of that, I'm not really interested in ETH at all, basically. So yeah.
Maybe just like one thing to add. Today we have monthly close, so maybe I don't know, higher time frame traders look at that stuff.
That's possible. That's something I never really looked at, to be fair. Like, I haven't really paid all that much attention to like the closes of the candles and all of that, but I know that there tends to be a volatility around these things. I'm quickly looking at the calendar as well. We have NFP on Friday. We have like PMI tomorrow, so some like NFP obviously more of a bigger deal, but not so much for BTC. But yeah, I was, to be fair, like last week with the FOMC, I expected quite a bit of volatility. I was also kind of really waiting for something to happen basically on Wednesday that will give kind of the resolution to all of this mess. But you can see, this is basically the FOMC movement from the last week. So that's like basically nothing happened over there. So yeah.
Yeah, hopefully I turned down the mic a bit. Somebody said I was too loud, so hopefully it's better. For me the same. Like Bitcoin's doing nothing. Equities, like last week was for me very disappointing. Expected much more volatility in markets, but that's just like the market's been pretty dead for 5-6 weeks now. So then you have like a heavy week full of stuff happening, and you're like kind of projecting that you just want some volatility.
Yeah, I mean, like it's the summer, and I know like a lot of people kind of talk about summer being in general like that, but look at even like this is BTC from the last summer basically. Like obviously we kind of went sideways, but even if you are going, these are the daily candles obviously, even if you are going to take a look at like bodies of these candles and these movements, like you have this kind of at least kind of up and down type of movement, comparing this to basically just grind to the side. so yeah, definitely a disappointing kind of a action on BTC. What's good though, obviously, is when BTC is like completely that like this, you can trade the altcoins and don't have to pay all
like Bald
that much. Sorry.
Like the new shiny altcoin called Bald.
Yeah, yeah, you can trade on-chain shitcoins and basically don't have to pay too much attention to like the market correlation and all of that. So yeah, and there has been some like decent moves in altcoins. Like we had a move in the old DeFi, optimism moved, and I think we can talk about all of this and hear more about it from you, since you are kind of more in the picture what's been going on.
Well, yeah, I guess the very last thing to add, like to slowly transition from the more serious topics of Bitcoin TradFi to like shitcoinery to complete degeneracy, is that on Thursday there's like last quote unquote important companies reporting, which is Amazon and Apple. And as we've seen with all the other companies just beating all the fucking numbers like completely crazy. And if I'm not mistaken, these two companies I just mentioned are the biggest have the biggest weight in the index, so like I wouldn't be surprised if we just I don't know, but hey,
if you just like look at the S&P and the Nasdaq charts, like
oh my god,
these are like super overextended. Like basically last 3 months has been just up only. Nasdaq is up quite a bit actually. I know it's like from the start of the year, Nasdaq is up 50%, which is like kind of huge for the index. And yeah, like these still look somewhat strong. Like last week on the Nasdaq, I will just be very quickly talking about this. We had these kind of like rejection candles. This is basically on Wednesday or Thursday, I'm sorry, on the Nasdaq, and look at the next day, like we are immediately back to where we kind of sold off, and this has been kind of quite a common thing in the indices. You can see you have the rejection candle, next day you just completely rip back again up. We had this rejection, we are back again up. So I don't know, like these things look super strong. Obviously, the correlation with BTC, I don't think it's really there at the moment, so you don't really have to pay attention to that. So yeah.
Then the question is, let's say something super bad happens, which is, I know, a lot of cope from me right now, but anything happens to TradFi when we actually have a correction, will Bitcoin follow through, basically? But yeah, we are not a macro podcast. There's a lot of other people doing that, so I guess we can kind of move a little bit into shitcoinery.
I think in my opinion, like the correlation has been like overall quite off. You know, this is a mid-February, basically the only time this year when the S&P had any kind of correction, basically was correcting for a month. I think this was very bullish. Yeah. No, actually it wasn't. It's my bad. Like we moved up on the BTC, but then we also had a little bit of correction. I don't know. I just like when when these two charts look like this, basically I don't really pay attention from like one another. I trade TradFi, I trade S&P, I trade Nasdaq, but I don't really kind of care about being in these kind of correlated positions with crypto overall and BTC, obviously.
Yeah, maybe one thing that's more related to crypto to keep like a reminder, because I believe it will be a big catalyst, is that obviously we're waiting for some more information on the Bitcoin spot ETF from all these companies, from ARK and all the other guys, so it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna name them all. Obviously BlackRock. So they were added to the SEC thing, like some sort of list, and then you have a 45-day window, which is like, even though market is like doing fuck all, the time is passing, right? So basically we're closer and closer to the actual deadline event type of thing, so that will definitely result in volatility regardless.
I was hoping for a little bit of that kind of insider information type of thing which happened with XRP. If you're gonna take a look at that real quickly, before this kind of SEC resolution, you had this huge spot T-Web basically going on for a month or so.
Oh man, it was since April. You can go on daily charting.
Yeah. It was mad. For quite a bit. I think I was posting about this in May or something. Yeah. It's basically started in March even.
Jesus.
Or like April really kicked off. So, I was kind of hoping that would be some sort of clues, but yeah, BTC just looks like no one really cares at the moment. So.
But one is interesting, since we're already here shilling Velo, in the top left menu, if you go to CME, right, since like, right, this would be the traditional, wouldn't this be like the suits betting on, like the move up on, I believe it was like June 13th, it was the BlackRock spot ETF application announcement, and then you've seen like elevated volumes, and now it's slightly diminishing, I guess.
Yeah. It seems like there was like a bunch of open interest, and they seem to be holding most of it. This move from 1.7 billion to 2.9, it's in kind of a midpoint at the moment. Open interest on the options is rising a little bit. It doubled basically since start of the July, so that could be something, but I'm not too much of a options guy to give you some sort of like a more educated guess on these. So I don't really pay much of an attention to these, to be fair, but
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
it's actually something I want to learn, hopefully after I finish my school.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about some of the altcoins. That's definitely more interesting. There's a bunch of stuff going on now.
Well, I guess I would start with the last few weeks. I feel like this is like a very old stuff that people keep saying, right? But we had Bitcoin do really well, right? Then we had some altcoins doing well, specifically like Solana comes to mind. Then we had the rotation to smaller caps, that's like your maker sort of sorts. And then obviously last week, since the last episode, it's been basically all Onchain. So a week ago, we were talking about hamsters. Like, no, we will not talk about Onchain that much, but talk of the town was, and it's related, so it's not just me being bored and sharing stories, was obviously the bold shitcoin on Base, which is Base is a layer 2, if I'm not mistaken, basically on utilizing optimism technology, and it's like Coinbase layer 2 type of thing. That one.
This thing. Yeah.
I first tweeted about it at the local top on the left side, like literally at the
Yeah.
top, and then I tweeted at the bottom right after. So yeah, follow me for great inverse. And guys, well, why we're talking about this thing did like went to 200 million market cap. When, if I'm not mistaken, maybe some degen on-chain will correct me, but so Adam, so just to understand, there was not like official bridge out, so you could only deposit money to base, you couldn't withdraw it. So like people would just ape some random altcoins or shitcoins last 2 days, and it rugged. But why it's relevant, we can talk about optimism, because it have seen we have shown English restart, like optimism has shown a lot of relative strength. Then obviously we had someone like Hasaka and the narrative traders talk about it.
Yeah,
Basically.
there is this thing about optimism somewhere in here.
Yeah.
Basically, which this led to actually kind of nice rally yesterday in the optimism. I think that was a decent trade. I didn't took it, I don't really. I try to at least take the weekends off. But you had this kind of a build up in. This is kind of a very classic kind of a order flow trade, in my opinion, where you go with simple things like a support and resistance kind of type of move. But you are basically looking at where the open interest start to piling in, which is basically in this candle. And as long as market is kind of holding this buying, because obviously you will have a bunch of buyers stepping in here, breaking above this level. As long as these things hold, it's kind of good to go always higher, because these people will kind of make sure to defend these longs. And there was a tweet from Hasaka as well, but this was a decent kind of a long setup yesterday on the OP.
Yeah, it's like do you have the open interest in dollars, or is it in the tokens? In coins.
It's in coins, but if I move to the dollars, it still was like 70 million, almost.
That's a lot. Quite a bit.
That's a decent amount. And like I said, nice thing about this is that since Bitcoin is kind of dead, you can kind of play these without paying too much of an attention to the BTC itself.
And that's the best scenario, right? I like to talk, like, if somebody somehow follows me or my spam on Twitter, is I like to trade the altcoins that completely ignore rest of the market type of thing. So that few weeks ago was Bitcoin Cash, obviously XRP. So like, okay, if you're like scalping 1 minute, then sure, Bitcoin dumping will affect it. But essentially that coin, the strongest one that's ignoring Bitcoin price action, will bounce the hardest as well, usually.
Yeah, what I like to do generally because like I said, I don't really day trade all that much. I like to look at the CryptoWatch correlations and just very simply add the coin I'm interested in trading. And I generally like to see like going to like 7-day or 1-day correlation. Seeing this number under 0.5 is kind of good thing for your trade, basically. Because obviously, if you are not aware about the correlations, closer you are getting this number to 1. If I will add something that's like super correlated, maybe ETH is 0.85. That's almost 1-to-1 correlation. But if you find things that are under 0.5, that's kind of a good spot to take the trades, and you don't really have to be too bothered with what's BTC going to do, at least for like next couple hours, couple of days.
So I guess that's optimism. Also, optimism and other layer 2s have something coming in Q4, which is some EIP thingy about like making layer 2s more efficient. I'm butchering it, but something very bullish L2s basically.
I was looking at this type of trades today. Maybe, I don't know if it's super good or bad idea, but basically take kind of this quote-unquote pair trade. It's not really a pair trade, since like pair trade would be basically just trading back to the mean. But if I'm going to take a look at ARP against optimism, it's kind of bouncing from this area. We had here a little bit of volumes. It's already kind of up today. little bit. So maybe I was thinking like take a long at ARP, short at optimism.
I
to
think
kind of
it makes sense because when you think about it, so with the base thing, the mainnet launch should be supposedly, right? A lot of this is like rumors, Telegram group chat alpha, quote unquote, lol. That the base mainnet is launching in somewhere in August. So whenever that happens, this could be like local top for optimism, and maybe we'll see some rotation or at least relative weakness with optimism. Hence, we could take, some sort of pair trade with optimism on the short side.
Yeah.
For
There has
context.
been, I think there has been like a lot of these like nice pair trades, even with like Doge, with Ship. I think Ship had a little bit of
Typed
movement.
shit.
Yeah, like Doge kind of topped out here, like rotating from one meme coin to another would be a smart idea somewhere around this area. So yeah, it's definitely, this is something that I never done all that much, to be fair, but it's basically like, because you are like the pair trade itself would be obviously, if I take a look at this ARP optimism, it's the pair trade is just like you would take it back to the mean, so you would kind of structure the trade differently, but this is kind of expressing your own kind of discretionary opinion that ARP will be like better performing coin from these two. So even if there would be like downside on both, optimism should dump more and ARP should kind of hold better and vice versa, basically.
Or it's another suggestion, if you want to be completely like overpowered rotator, you have a lot of these narratives. So let's say Doge, there's a lot of what ifs with Elon. We discussed that last week, I believe. But let's say something like Litecoin is a very good example and very only example that will work this week's episode, because Litecoin halving is up in like 2 days or 2 days, 5 hours. I don't know. You can Google it. But I assume, simply like my speculation is that Litecoin should show some relative weakness following the halving event, right? Yeah. So if it runs up.
Yeah, I think personally for Litecoin, I think this was it. And this actually trapped a lot of people, in my opinion, this kind of Saturday pump we had. Because I woke up in Sunday and I saw like my timeline was basically full of Litecoin and people kind of betting on continuation into the halving. And
Classic.
Like look at the chart now.
Everybody's so late.
So I think like a lot of people are stuck now in this long, basically sitting here. So yeah.
So are you saying my short is Safu?
I think your short is fine. If you shorted somewhere in this area,
95-ish.
Yeah, that should be nice.
I literally went to cinema to watch Oppenheimer. I went to, because as an older man you need to use the restroom. I went to like cinema. Obviously first thing you do in the middle of a movie is check chart, check price, bad price, market sell, watch the rest of the movie, and basically came back to the bottom thing. Like it went to like 90. I didn't close, but good movie by the way, Oppenheimer.
Like if you're gonna take a look at this and compare it with the optimism, basically this is your kind of a buying type of move, with the open interest, like price is trading very close to this and the open interest is still holding. So I think like if you just gonna hold the short until we will go back to this like 232 million, that would be kind of a nice trade. And like I said, if you are going to compare this with OP, same kind of thing, but this is holding much better basically. So yeah, I think this is nice.
Could you please do Litecoin but like daily chart, because we had 2 run-ups earlier this year, and I think they're worth covering. The 210 and 220. Was it? Yeah, that move I believe, and then the like these two.
These two, yeah.
No, the one to the right in July.
This one.
Yeah, this. Okay, so like the Litecoin halving narrative, if I may add a few more words, like Litecoin is when we think about it like from categories perspective, Litecoin is a very old coin. If I'm not mistaken, it's been around for almost 10 years now. So a lot of people, it's a dino coin, and
I think it's the first coin that I ever bought.
Nice. And it's basically, to summarize it, not speak for 30 minutes about that coin, is it never managed to get like, it was never really attractive for retail, in my opinion, in last few years at least. You know, it's not like Doge. Like when Doge has a narrative, it pumps like a motherfucker because it's just cool. It has, you know, something about it. And this thing just never really, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's not doing that bad if you show it this way.
Yeah, in 2021 it reached almost the previous all-time high, which was something that a lot of these older coins haven't done. I think it has like quite a community, like these older coins like Litecoin, you know, Link, and some other maybe, you know, they have this kind of a more hardcore community of people that has been in the space, so they have decent amount of money as well to kind of back the ideas up. But yeah, overall, I think the halving trade kind of happened. Yeah, the VET would be the one as well. I remember that from 2017. Yeah.
Yeah,
this like you said.
So that's probably the only narrative with like very specific date for this week. Bitcoin not looking that great. XRP is still kind of bleeding, and I'm sure people just want to hear something new. So we can, I guess, talk quickly about the state of DeFi and crypto in general. How many protocols have not been rugged or exploited or hacked or breached, or I don't even know, man. How?
Yeah, I think the Maker is probably the strongest one still, which is kind of holding quite a bit. There's some news around it as well, I think. There's something with...
It has like a narrative around RWA, which is just... I honestly haven't done that much in my research, but something to do like bullish for boomers using Maker DAO to go long treasury. I'm probably butchering this completely, but I've seen a lot of even VC bros basically shilling Maker. Obviously, then also people like Hasaka. And then you look at fucking market cap of Maker, and it's embarrassing, man. It was, when all this shilling started, it was like, you know, 400 million market cap with like 50 million open interest. So I would just never touch something like this because you can get slipped so hard without even...
Yeah, definitely. Like the lower time frames is kind of all over the place. You know, you have these huge wicks back and forth. But like if this is one of these things, like they go, you just need to give them a little bit of space. I think CL tweeted about this a couple of weeks ago that this is a good trade, but you just shouldn't be doing it on perps. You should be just buying spot. And he was kind of right. I think it was somewhere around this area, if I remember correctly. So yeah. The curve is interesting, you know, with the hack yesterday.
Oh wow. And that open interest, is in tokens again or in dollars?
Let me check actually on Velos, so it's going to be probably the better. This is open interest in dollars now, and this is in 50 million in mostly shorts.
That could be decent long, no?
Yeah, I think what is like super interesting about this is if you are going to take a look, this is on Trading Light. Look at this is the spot book, basically the kind of a bids and asks at the spot book, and you can see it's been, you know, kind of flat basically for the most part. There were some spikes when this rallied a bit. This is now like heavily skewed on the buy side, and you can even take a look here. You know, you can see how much size is sitting on the bid compared to the offer, but it really just starts like under the lows, basically like 0.53 to 0.5 is like where this kind of size, even at 43, but there's like a huge difference between like buyers and sellers. So, and you can obviously see this here as well, you know.
Just maybe one thing to add is, for people watching, these heat maps are Binance only, right?
Yeah, these are just Binance only.
One thing to mention, there's a lot of the tokens of Curve. I'm not a DeFi guy, an Onchain guy, obviously, as people can hear, but a lot of people were doing a lot of arbitrage between all the different, you know, chains and protocols. So I've heard people basically buying Curve at like whatever 20 cents or whatnot.
I saw that yesterday. It traded like 22 cents on Uni, basically. But yeah, I think this is going to be a good long eventually. But with the fact that it didn't bounce immediately today, I would wait for kind of a new lows on a daily and then look for longs.
What is interesting also, did you see that BitHump, one of the leading Korean exchanges, is trading at like 6x premium because they halted withdrawals and deposits, so just Koreans go full retard. It's the funniest thing ever. Every time Koreans do this stuff with altcoins, deposits are closed, pump it, and then people obviously arbitrage as well. So maybe personally, for me to go curve long, I would like to see, as you said, maybe some massive liquidation cascade on the long side, and then the classic V-shaped recovery, timed perfectly with the Bitstamp resuming deposits and withdrawals. That would be a nice, probably easy.
There is like not, in my opinion, like with these things, when you have like such a huge positioning, like there is really no need to try to just catch the longs, because you can, like, even if it's basically going to do something like this, like let's say take out the lows and then pump all the way back and like reclaim, for example, this kind of SR level, and you would start buying here, and the positioning would still be kind of like this, people wouldn't puke so much, you will still have this kind of a very sharp move to the upside. So even if you are kind of catching the last part of the move, it still can be quite profitable trade. So there's no need to rush into this, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's interesting because obviously neither me or Adam, with all due respect to Adam as well, like I don't want to discredit him, we know nothing about DeFi. So I don't even know what curve does. Like you can lend, borrow, what does it even mean? Like I know I can lose money.
It does basically the same thing as everything on DeFi does.
Get hacked and make DeFi founders buy $40 million mansions.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, nice. No, but seriously, it's like one of the OG protocols, right? I think they've always been like a good reputation, good faith actors, unlike a lot of people in the space.
Yeah, so...
One sec, I think we had one more shitcoin to cover. One more future of finance. I'm trying to find it in our chat. No, we really discussed pretty much.
I think yeah, we kind of discussed the most of the things. This is basically what this watch list that I have on the right side is basically what I will be watching for this week. These kind of, Solana was doing well. It's maybe a dead thing now, after this huge push to the upside, but it's still kind of holding up. So I'm looking at that, OPR, we covered that. I don't know why I have a Matic here for some reason.
Because you're like a trader SZ to support him on the crusade against.
Yeah, this is looking just bad. But yeah, some just few things that were relatively strong. The world coin is kind of disappointing. I was really hoping for some like lower time frame trades on this, but the open interest is kind of super flat. At least on Binance, I don't know whether this thing even trades, and people are maybe just too busy scanning their eyeballs. But yeah, there's not much going on here.
Yeah, it's mostly, as you said, it's because all the action is on chain, and until people like get wrecked even more, probably will take some time for morale to improve.
What people in chat are trading at the moment? If there's anything.
Is anybody trading? I should check our referral volumes. It's probably.
Someone mentioned, DYDX is pumping quite a bit today.
There's been news. They wanna slash token issuance. They had some sort of on like governance protocol. So community members voted. Okay.
It's coming from a nice level though. Like from like a TA perspective, you took out once again the daily lows after this impulse move. So if this is not going to like fade completely away, I might be actually look to like bid on some of these retests into once this kind of goes to cool down a little bit. It's a nice looking chart.
Have you ever used DIDX? I would like to interview you a bit more because I think it's interesting because you've been trading for a while.
I absolutely hated it. I used it once. I was trading BTC. There was like a wick that wasn't happening on Binance at all. It didn't fill my trade because of that. and I withdraw all the money and never used it again. So yeah.
Okay, I shouldn't have asked. Like now we're gonna get people asking why we're fudding one of the leading perp dexes.
Yeah, it's quite a sad with the exchanges. I don't even like. I don't know. Like I trade on Binance now, even with all the FUD. I know like you trade too. I withdraw all the money from Binance, but I basically came back because at the end of the day, you know, it's still like the most liquid thing. So
Yeah, for altcoins, there is no even denying of.
So yeah, it's really someone. Yeah, someone mentioned Toshi on Bolt, so I'm not.
No,
even
can
to
we
look at
can we not?
ASTR. I have no idea
It's
what
a
this is.
Polkadot parachain.
Okay.
But yeah, it's
I
like
have-
Japanese teams slash founders.
I don't know nothing about this.
I can explain. So hold up. So Astar, basically Japan. Okay, story time, because I think it's interesting. It's important for people to know. When Mount Gox first happened, it was, if I'm not mistaken, Japanese exchange, or a lot of the like offices, headquarters stuff was in Japan. So since that happened in many years ago, Japan was one of the very few countries to establish some sort of actual regulation slash legislations about around crypto. So opening accounts there or exchanges, it was pretty difficult. FTX Japan actually is going to be one of the first people to get their money fully back because, again, of the paperwork. So
they will get like 1-to-1 back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yes. Yep.
Okay, that's interesting.
Not me though. But now Japan is opening. I believe there's Binance Japan opening after takeover of some exchange. So this is basically people betting on bullish Japan crypto, and one of the prime ministers, I believe, said something like Japan Web3 very cool, yeah, you know, the classic bullshit like El Salvador type circle jerking.
Okay.
But yeah, and this is your proxy coin for Japan being bullish crypto. Thanks
Okay,
for listening to my TED talk.
That's kind of interesting though. The chart itself, I think it's a little bit overextended at this point. You know, trading into kind of a level here, if you will. So I'm not sure if I would be just buying here, going all YOLO, but once again, you know, if you're gonna take a look at the open interest, where the buying is coming from, there is this kind of a decent, I think, section that led to this kind of breakout here. So maybe a little bit of a pullback to like 0.08 would be a nice long. But yeah, definitely, this actually sounds like a decent trade idea. Usually people just sound like complete shit coins, but yeah, this does sound kind of interesting to me. It's trading on Binance as well, so
Interesting. So you're into like boomer narratives now.
yeah.
No, it's interesting to hear that you've always flamed me for my narratives, but this is interesting that you like this.
No, I mean like when it comes to like obviously difference between Japan and El Salvador is quite a big. So
I mean, but it's not like you can buy, you know, in Japan in your local store,
yeah.
pay with fucking Binance shitcoin.
Yeah, definitely, but still, Uni is you know definitely a strong one. Lot of buying coming here though. Like this is a lot of buying. I don't think I ever saw like this huge increase in the Uni. You know, basically it didn't happen the whole year. You know, this is once again. We can look at Velo because I have no idea how accurate this kind of a thing is from the trading view. I just have it there because I'm lazy. But yeah, that's a lot of buying here. You know, that's like 80% increase, $30 million in the last 2 days. That's quite a lot.
But this is, we keep repeating this, but this is nothing we would trade at all. This is too illiquid.
Yeah.
Like
this is also, yeah. I was actually looking at the Uni on like lower time frames, and you know, like you can take a look at some of these coins on lower time frames, and you will see the candles looking kind of funny. You know, there are some of these like gaps, and they just kind of spike randomly. That's very often my kind of signal not to touch these things at all, basically. I don't know, like a lot of buying is coming from, basically all the buying is coming from perps. That's kind of maybe a little bit of a concern here. You know, this kind of grayish thing is the perp CVD. I don't know. I don't know if I feel like this is a good buy. For shorts, obviously, with these coins, you want to have that kind of a last overextended leg before considering short, because this is just you're asking to get rolled over basically.
But on the short side, like, why would? So maybe somebody listening wants to short this. Why? Like, in terms of market cap / liquidity / like risk reward, there's so many better shorts, and very simple. Like, if you want to play it safe, you want to basically short. Even if like very simple, I know it's not as easy, but like something like Litecoin XRP, I don't even know what Uni is market cap. It must be 9 figures maximum. It's not in billions.
When I would generally be looking at shorts, you at least want to, and this is on comp, like on lower time frames, and this is not that extended. I thought like the high on comp before this huge sell-off was kind of a much more spike. It is also nothing crazy. But yeah, I don't know, like this kind of makes me, like with Uni like this, I don't know, obviously, but I guess there's like nothing really new going on. We expect like people betting on on-chain stuff now, and the old DeFi is being kind of a hot topic now. But other than that, I don't know, like, yeah.
Yeah, also no clue. I mean,
these are kind of more of a candles, like this huge spike on a volume on the liquidations is where you want to be looking at shorts, rather than trying to short something that's just grinding up slowly. These candles basically are the things you want to be shorting: liquidations, volume, this kind of OI spike, CBDs spiking, and all of a sudden market is basically not going to continue. So this is your kind of short.
If you don't know how to trade liquidations, I'm gonna show my personal YouTube. I made a tutorial on it, and I think it's useful.
Yeah.
But like honestly, like trading these, so we see that this is like hindsight analysis. Reality is, when you want to trade these liquidations, you sit at the fucking computer all day long for 14 hours a day, waiting on 1 minute chart for something to happen. Then you go to the restroom because you've been holding it for a few hours, which is not healthy for you. And you come back from the action of doing pee pee poo poo, and you miss the short, and you hate yourself. So
yeah,
is it something you really want to be doing, like months, every day for months? No, you don't. In my opinion, Adam, maybe you can share your experience, but
yeah, definitely. It's kind of one of these things which is like much easier said than done. Obviously you have these Telegram bots now, and people made a bunch of tools where you will get notifications about all these liquidations. But in my opinion, when it comes to especially altcoins, and I like hate myself for saying that, but usually the upside is like easier trade, like going with this kind of a general trend direction, than just trying to be basically a contrarian and just fading all these moves up. Uni is and this is something that I look at, and it's much healthier in terms of time management. You look at the coins when you have a huge change in the open interest, basically at the end of the day, right? Or it doesn't have to be like on a daily time frame. I will just use the Uni example because this is clear here but if like you have like rising open interest for like couple of hours, showing that this is like not some insane, like for example, we had a Verge pumping, which I noticed on a screener today. Like I'm not looking at some like a dead coin, which all of a sudden, went from 8 million open interest to 25. Like the coins that have like a normal volume, and like people actually trade them, not like something like this, basically, which is like completely useless. But you look at these kind of situations where a lot of people are going to step in. You will create this type of zone, basically, where you had a large amount of buying. If I will be able to kind of draw about this, and you will be betting on the fact that these people will hold, basically defend their positions, and you can use all the fancy SR levels. You can use moving averages. You can use whatever you want, be volume profile, whatever works for you. Usually, I just use a simple SR because it's like simple and I don't really have to think about it all that much. But yeah, these are the trades that I like to take rather than really sit on 1 minute chart, and like in this situation right here, and just hope that I will be able to, buy somewhere in here. So usually when the coins are already overextended, I prefer to just look at the new thing rather than, just try to catch the top and bottom. That's like more of a Twitter thing where you want to show everyone that you catch the absolute top and bottom, but in the you will have much easier time to when trading like with the trend, and like when you can have at least a couple of days for like retest and stuff. Link was an example last week. Once again, a lot of buying. Here you have a like that simple support and resistance, like €5 child could draw this. You go to lower time frames, you just retest this level, start picking up pace. You have your like a, I don't know, what was this, like 5%, 10% move basically to the upside.
Yeah, maybe we can also like finish the stream with some words on like actually trading, meaning what I mean by that. I see a lot of people try to always have a position, and it's completely, in my opinion, unsustainable. I could do like days or weeks, and like I have the luxury or ability to be at the computer all day long every day because I'm no life. But reality is you don't, like you might take like a trade once in 14 days, or sometimes you'll take 3 trades in a day. But it's like there's no shame in not having positions, and I feel like a lot of people are always trying just for the sake of having trade open. And it's like the sort of patience or waiting for good setup is, I think, the hardest part about being a trader, or like actually trading and making money trading. Because if you're bored and you're just gonna trade for the sake of trading, you're gonna round trip some of the gains, right? Give it all back. Yeah. So what's the point of doing this?
Yeah, like I trade personally, I trade all these boomer markets as well. Although I'm kind of thinking about just not doing it and focus more on crypto. But I trade, a bunch of different markets rather than just crypto. When it comes to altcoins, for me, I really try to get like 1 or 2 good positions in a trading week. I don't really trade every day. Sometimes I don't even, trade altcoins whole week. But, there are situations, for example, once again, and I'm really sharing this kind of one setup that I take like 90% of the time. So you will all now know. But yeah, comp. This was six days ago. This was last Tuesday. You have once again, because you want to be trading at the areas where like market gave you very clear kind of a clue that there are actual buyers interested in. It's like super simple at that. This move happened after you kind of. One thing that I feel like is important, like you want to give this a little bit of a time for the market to not do something like this. To like make basically this, and this was all like just the exit pump. But once you see for a couple of days that the market is holding this level, you will set alert here. Basically on like 15, you will wait 10 days. Market will retrace it. If it's not going to retrace, then what can you do? But after 10 days, you will just get alert. You will go to little lower time frames. Kind of structure your trade a little bit better, and you have a nice trade that you will hold for a bit. You will exit. And yeah,
and one thing we should definitely mention, even though we're not participating or we don't have RefLink to show you, in 2 days or 3 days, I don't know, the Bybit trading thing will start.
We definitely have a RefLink to show you. You will get a coin market man with that, but yeah, that's going to be interesting. Like you can finish that.
If you missed shorting Litecoin at 65, what? Brother, 65? How?
Like 65?
I think he meant 95.
Yeah.
Look, if you're, with all due respect, sir, if you have to ask this question, don't take the short. I know it sounds harsh, but.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
But like, where is your invalidation type of thing, To me, like, why did I short 95? I know that was not the best advice. I'm at the movie, but for me, I've explained it many times every stream. Litecoin halving is 2.5 days, and I expect it to underperform rest of the market after the halving. So to me, essentially, price doesn't matter. It's more of an event date specific.
I think your invalidation is above the new high, realistically, which is quite far from here. So I think this short has kind of a
But
bad
it's not.
risk reward.
It's not the cleanest, right? Like what you know what I mean? Like this is one of those 1-to-1 RR to me. Like I'm not really R trader, but like what do you target? You know what is?
Yeah.
I think about like if we go to as high as possible, as closest to event as possible. I know it sounds retarded, but you actually, if price doesn't go down in like 2 days after the event, I know I'm wrong, basically.
Yeah. If I would short this here, I most likely would have to put my stop above the high. My target would be probably a new low, so it's 1.7 R. I don't know. I just don't feel like this is the best trade to take at the moment. Yeah, someone was asking about the open interest indicator on TradingView. This is the open interest suite by Leviathan. It's a nice indicator. He has a bunch of cool stuff here, so you can use that. But I don't know. I think like I still prefer to use the Velo Shill or just the Coinalyze basically. I feel like the data from that is like more accurate. I don't know.
And it's smoother
Yeah.
experience. It's easier to, I don't know. It really is easier to navigate markets through it.
Someone asking about if there is any tool to gouge. Yeah, I use Levitas for that. Basically, every morning I open this tab on the perpetual swaps. I just look at the coins with biggest OI changes. I look at the coins with the biggest positive and negative fundings, the coins with the biggest and lowest volume changes, and that's basically it. The only downside for it is that you have to pay for it, because if you want, you cannot use this filter option. I don't know why I have it on 15 million. I have it on a 25 million open interest, and if you want to do that, you know, you will have just basically every living shitcoin there, because this is pulling data from all the exchanges. So yeah, it costs like $50 a month basically.
And fuck, what did I want to say? Actually, maybe if you go to Velo, oh my god, Velo should definitely sponsor us now. But if you go, if you just change a little bit your watch list to the right, no,
You
in
can
the
actually.
chat, there's
Okay,
open interest change. If you go to click on
Yeah.
the settings, no, yeah, I believe
Yeah.
there's OI change. Is it not? No, it's not. Okay, my bad.
There
Apologies.
is a really nice feature here on Velo though. If you go to market, they made these sections. Bear in mind that they don't have all the coins. They have just they are adding them manually. But basically, you can kind of gain this top losers, top gainers. You know, you have DeFi, layer 1, small cap, mid cap, large cap, and you have the open interest spaghetti here as well. So that's kind of nice. And you have the funding heat maps here as well. So this is kind of a eased up version. For example, I took a nice trade on Sunday because I was looking at the biggest losers with the open interest change. What this obviously means is that there is a coin that is going down a lot with increasing open interest, meaning that, you know, a lot of people are piling into shorts. On Sunday it was INJ. I was kind of bored, so I just took a quick day trade, which was basically here. You know, when we this was like a bigger level of support, you know, increase in the open interest. I know you cannot see this very well here, but yeah, I just bought like for like very quick move to somewhere. I was expecting bigger squeeze, but I closed the trade around here, so it's like 1.5 R. It doesn't matter. I just wanted to you know, it's a really nice way that Velo has it here.
Adam and Runner, don't take trades if you're bored. Also, Adam and Runner, I took this trade because I was bored.
No, like it was raining yesterday, I think, and I just didn't know what to do. So I'm always kind of like, you know, getting back into day trading, but then I realized like I don't really want to sit 20 hours a day in front of the charts, basically.
Relatable.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. If anybody has any more questions, feel free. We've been going for 1 hour, so I think it's like a very good, perfect time.
Yeah. Bitcoin is still doing nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But Litecoin bounced a bit. I marked the local bottom with me celebrating. So classic.
see. Yeah. Someone asking about pair trading. Well, I explained, or we explained this a little bit throughout the stream. Like I said, I never really pair traded much. Basically, it's like it's a little bit of a different, like, pair trading in like a general idea is that like you have a coin that is going up and you have a coin that is going down, and basically you will short this one and you will long this one. Assuming that these coins have almost like 1-to-1 correlation, and you are basically betting on the fact that they will kind of go back to the mean. But yeah, this is like a general idea. It's kind of same thing that I covered, that I talked about with the OP and Arbitrum. But for me, like what I did, basically, I looked at just the kind of a pair chart of these two things, and this is like inverse from what I showed earlier. But like you have this kind of a level with the volumes. Basically a shorting OP, longing ARB, because it should kind of mean revert back to this consolidation at least. So yeah. But I haven't done it all that much to be kind of like super expert about it. But I saw someone on Twitter in a thread, like he had like a huge run up on the account, and he was mostly, I think like you even shared it, like someone from the Discords, you talked with the people that like had a really nice run up on the account, basically doing the pair trades with like narratives and stuff.
Oh, I it's possible, I just don't remember.
It was a couple months ago, so.
Oh, that's like 11 years, so.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking where we gonna do a run together.
Yeah, I went for a run yesterday. I almost died, so no.
What do you mean? No,
No,
okay.
no. Okay. Anyway, spot CVD going up, perhaps going down, like with the curve. It really depends. That's one of those things that can be a little bit kind of a hard and misleading. Yeah, but I would say like spot CVD is not doing anything, or it's going up a little bit. Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't really have like a complete resolution on this particular thing. I just use the CVDs for like a bigger correlation with the trades and price action and all of that, rather than just look at CVDs blindly. This is not something that I would just took a trade on simply like that.
Okay, cool.
So thank you, everyone. Someone asked about one thing. This is, I think, is interesting question about the advice to give. What advice would you give to old self?
To never copy trade crypto Twitter.
Yeah.
Unironically, I lost high 5 figures being a retard in 2021. So.
Yeah, definitely ignore. Take Twitter for fun. Just find something that works for you and just stick to it. It's like the easiest thing you can do. So yeah, thank you guys for your attention, and we will see you hopefully next week.
Good luck. Use stop losses. Bye bye.